Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with another stupid recording of Mendelssohn's A Midsummer Night's Dream on period instruments. This time with the Freiburg Baroque Orchestra, right? The Freiburger Baroque Orchestra under Pablo Heras Casado. Yeah, I mean, they've been destroying Mendelssohn for years now. I mean, remember, it all began with that horrible Reformation Symphony and violin concerto with Isabel Faust or something like that. I don't know. It was just grotesque. I reviewed it for ClassicsToday.com. Let's be clear. Let's just wipe the slate clean. Mendelssohn was a romantic, a dyed-in-the-wool romantic. He was interested in fairy tales and magical realms and all kinds of mystical, irrational, romantic things. He was. His music needs warmth. It requires passion. Yes, he was very disciplined. He was a gentleman. His music had a certain reserve to it. Okay. Yes, it had all of those things. But he was nonetheless an admirer of late Beethoven, one of the few in his era, an incredibly well-educated, erudite, brilliant romantic. He was neurotic. He was self-critical. He revised things constantly. He didn't just churn stuff out and I mean, each work was an individual thing. He had that romantic ethos to the way he worked. So the idea, the Freiburg Baroque Orchestra, and not even the Freiburg Baroque Orchestra, but the Freiburger Baroque Orchestra in its Baroque stylistics has about as much business playing this music as the Temple University Kazoo Orchestra. I mean, why not? They exist, so they can do it, right? Yeah. It's enough to make you want to barf. Anyway, these things have been wretched. This whole series has been wretched, and it's interesting how A Midsummer Night's Dream is ripe to have the period instrument stuff inflicted upon it, as, for example, Jordi Saval's wretchedly horrible version from just a few months ago. This is better than that. It is. I have to be honest. It is much better than that. First of all, you don't get the same thing 4 different times with narration in various languages and all that kind of hooey. Second of all, the sound of the orchestra much better approximates what the music demands. In terms of the overall sonority. I have to give credit to the fact that you have delicious little wind parts poking out. I don't want to give credit to the fact that the reason the delicious little wind parts are poking out is because the strings are so inadequate. I'm not even going to get into the vibrato issue. There just aren't enough of them. The balances are wrong. It sounds like wind ensemble music with a few strings attached. This is particularly true of the overture. And the real issue, as with so many of these period instrument abominations, is that you just don't get the range that the music demands. You don't have the dynamic range. You don't get fortissimo to pianissimo. The pianissimi are all too loud. The fortissimi are all too soft. The result sounds tinny and teeny, tiny, tinny, just small scale and restricted, inhibited. And if you believe that Mendelssohn was like a namby-pamby, tight-ass, Victorian, anal retentive, that sort of thing, an inhibited composer, well, that's what he sounds like in these performances. If you really believe that Mendelssohn was like wonderful and fresh and youthful and full of vim and vigor and passion, and well, go elsewhere. You need normal instruments, or at least the correct balances. I love hearing woodwinds, don't get me wrong. But even here, let's take an example, the scherzo. The scherzo is very swift. It's beautifully played in most respects. I like the tempo. But when you get to the cadence theme in the scherzo, that the first time it comes up, you don't hear it. You hear woodwinds going. You do hear the tune later when it's really on top and the woodwinds aren't playing so much. But I mean, it's up to the conductor to balance these things properly. Even the solo flute at the end doesn't have enough prominence. There's no sparkle to the tone whatsoever. It's absolutely awful. And then, I mean, the overture itself, okay, the wind chords at the opening are well tuned, but the fairy music with the violins, it sounds indistinct. It's blurry. It doesn't have the necessary precision, the necessary tightness of ensemble. And it isn't because the violins are off. It's not because they're not playing well. It's because there just aren't enough of them to create a corporate sonority that has the right kind of substance, so that you hear, instead you just hear this sort of vague, buzzy, blurry thing. And it's unpleasant, frankly, and the fact that there's no dynamic range doesn't help either. And then, of course, this is done with German narration. I detest narration. We don't need narration. Okay, maybe a little bit, tiny bit, a sentence or two, but if the march of the little Elvies, und jetzt kommt die Elfen mit die Füßen marchen und die schleckenden Füßen des Gefecht. It's so irritating. Oh my God, it's annoying. And the melodramas, yes, you've got music over spoken word. You've got to have it. So that's okay. I mean, I can live with it. I don't really need it, but I can deal with it. The singing is quite good. The Freiburg, it was the RAIS Kammerchor, the women both are wonderful, of course. The soloists, Mi Young Kim and Anna Erdmann, are fine. They're perfectly fine. They do their business. And, you can't argue with that. The Wedding March sounds absolutely terrible. Oh, my goodness. It's so tinny and so lacking in first of all, it's far too clipped. Harris Casado, just, he's da 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 da, and then with tiny little orchestra that's da 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 da, it gets even smaller and smaller and less. There's no breadth. There's no grandeur to it. I mean, it's amazing how they just managed to take this piece and hem it in every way. It's emotionally and expressively anal. It's dynamically limited. It's timbrally restricted, unless you're a woodwind player. It's just a fool's errand doing this. It really is. And I it's so depressing that they're serious musicians. I mean, they really are. And there's music that the Freiburger Baroque Orchestra does quite well. I mean, earlier stuff, they do. They're a good band, but they're just out of their element. It's not the music for them, and they have no freaking clue, or they don't care. Either way, it's depressing, isn't it? So, well, that goes that way. And keep on listening, friends. There's so many better versions of this. Oh my, billions of them, aren't there? So take care.